Hey everyone, here's another video on how to get free trees from branches that you intend to prune, or just branches from trees that just have a lot of branches that you can sacrifice a couple and the tree still looks good. This is one of those type of trees where it has a ton of branches, and if I take a couple off, it'll still look good. This is one that doesn't really get any direct sun. Here, maybe 6 feet, 7 feet long, that I applied a ball of potting soil to about 3 weeks ago, and this is the result. I have roots. This is now a tree, no longer a branch. So basically what I'll do is, when I'm ready, I'll chop this off and pot it. I'll have a tree, whether I put it in a pot or in the ground, and that depends on the roots, and if they're going to be good with not having a lot of air, having a lot of compaction and clay soil for Arizona, for Phoenix, having high sodium content in the soil, and a high pH. If your roots can take that, look up the tree that you intend to do this with, then you'll know if you need to put it in a pot or if you can put it in the ground. So the way to do this is, and again, you can do it with any tree for the most part. There may be a few that you can't, that won't root like this, but for the most part, any tree that's in your yard, pretty safe to say you can root them within 3 to 6 weeks, and this was 3 weeks. So what you do is you get your bark, you get either a sharp chisel or a knife from your kitchen with a serrated edge or something will make it easier to cut. And depending on the thickness, you might go wider or in more depending on the thickness of the branch. This is pretty thick, so for this I'd go maybe this wide all the way around, and you want to cut it all the way around, not too deep, only down to the cambium layer for this tree. And everything else that I've done so far, it's been when it turns white. So it goes from like a brown to like a green to a yellow to a white, I believe. So that when it gets to the white and the cambium layer, that's where you stop, and then you take all of this off. Basically is what you do. And for the reason you do that is so that your potting soil can interact, and the moisture in your potting soil can interact with the cambium layer, which is where the tree would develop its roots. So as well as once I chop this, the cambium on this branch, once I chop it, will also develop roots as well. So you get this, strip it down all the way around. If you're using root hormone, apply it. Get your potting soil. I have a mix of 1 part lava sand, 1 part my homemade compost, 1 part worm castings, and 1 part vermiculite is what I used, because I had it laying around because I not potted up, but I put some seeds in trays to germinate, and that's the soil that I use to germinate the seeds. So I had some left over, and that's what I use for this, as well as several other air layers in my yard, and that's the name of this, is air layering. If you want to look that up, air layering. And I put that around here by getting some plastic that I had laying around clear so that I could see the roots developing, so I know when to cut it. And got the soil and then a ball with the plastic on my hand, just brought it up, and with 2 hands I wrapped it around maybe once, and then I got some box tape, and then I just wrapped the box tape around. Waited 3 weeks, and now we have it here. This is in the shade, so I didn't have to put any foil around this to protect it from the sun's heat. But if your air layer is in the sun, you will have to probably put some foil around the ball so that you can protect it from getting too hot and burning your roots and killing them off before your tree has a chance. Because this will be a tree now, once I plant it out. I'm going to also do it with some more branches that don't get a lot of sun, like maybe this one here, or this one underneath here. These 2 cross. So things that you would prune that cross weird, that would be a prime candidate for this as well. It's a way to get free trees. And once you cut this off, what you do is soak the root ball in water, put it in your garage or somewhere cool in the shade for about a day for the water to get sucked up in the roots and push to the leaves as much as possible with no interference from the sun's heat. Then the very next day, you plant it in the pot, give it no shades, put it under a tree or something for about a week or 2. When it looks stable, you give it morning sun till around 10, 11 o'clock. for a couple more weeks, maybe 2-4 weeks. And once the roots grow more and denser and able to bring in more water quicker, and you feel like it's ready, then you can give it sun, more and more sun, as much as it can take. And there you have it, a free tree. Because I had the soil, I had this plastic from some bags or something. I had the tape, I had my knife to cut my cambium layer. I had my rooting hormone, which I used on this. I had everything. So this was for me free. And now I have a tree that I would go to, Home Depot and spend for a 6-foot tall tree, $50, $100 for. I got it for free. And I have a big yard, so I can do 20 of these. You guys have yards, you got neighbors, there's desert trees everywhere. I mean, you could do this and grow yourself some trees for free. Again, just make sure of the root stock of the tree before you do it, to figure if you're going to put it in the pot or in the ground. Any questions or comments, send me a message and I'll answer them. Thank you.